like I'm stuck in line, waiting my turn. All of the L's I took or lessons I learned. Success, it gotta be earned. Tell me why they sleeping on me. On me. Tell me why they sleeping on me. On me.
Hello. How you doing? And once again, I am the XD, and this is a moment with the XD. And yes, the C4 movement is back. We are on time to remove the past, prepare for a better future. We respect the past. Thank you for all your contributions, but we move it on to something different. But gotta bring back some legacy. So we went and got Glow. Glow, how you doing?
I'm
And
good.
how you been, Glow?
I've been all right.
All
Ready
right.
forward to what's coming next.
Right. Okay, one of the things I want to discuss on this moment with the XD is something that has been in conversation lately online. And that is this wall. The wall that says you got to be able to obtain things that you want by this time or it's pretty much done. And I feel like in certain cases people understand that, and there's other cases people try to fight that. And one of the example is right now, football player Tom Brady decided to come out of retirement and go back out there on the field. He's not doing too good.
Mm.
Father Time, in my opinion, may have caught up with him, but it's Tom Brady, so nobody ever has doubt in his ability. But he basically said, you know what, I just want to go back out there. I'm not ready to quit. We've also seen this in cases with Muhammad Ali. When he decided to go back into the ring, he was eventually beaten. Michael Jordan, he came back and he played for the Washington Wizards. He wasn't that same, I want to be like Mike. He was more like old man Mike playing for the Wizards. And those are like the male examples I have. Now, I heard the female examples where they talk about, if you don't have a man by this age, if you don't have kids by this age, it's pretty much over for you. So, with the examples I just gave, male and female, what do you think about that when concerning the wall?
I mean, you say the wall, but I feel like maybe it's similar to what people say their timeline is. Their eternal clock is ticking, and um, I mean, in high school, we actually were told to project. Write something in 10 years, and then like predict what you might happen next. So I feel like a lot of us have done that, right? We expect in 10 years I'm still doing this. We don't know what's gonna happen in 10 years. And then, like you say, once some of the athletes kind of got off of it and was like they missed the high of being out there, or they missed the thrill of it all. They missed the people. They missed what it represented for them. Um, I think it's difficult to go against that though. If you have the urge to get out there or the urge to want to keep, to do it, would you kick yourself if you didn't? You know?
I think for me it makes sense though. I mean, because you come to a point in life where it's like, you know what, this isn't your time now. For examples, you can't be 50 years old still talking about I'm about it with your pants hanging off your butt.
Right.
Come on, that was what in the 90s. So there's a time period of being too much for you for where you're at. Um, People were getting on recently deceased Kevin Samuels tore up Vivica Fox on one of his programs because she was projecting herself to be this, and that. And it was like, he basically like, oh, you're an older single woman. I mean, nobody's really checking for you out for a marriage or anything like that. And of course, it's Kevin Samuels, so he was immediately hated for that comment. But that is a reality that we all face. The older we get, the more we lose our selections in certain fields. Now, as a man, I can accept that. But I've talked to a lot of people, and the higher number I would say is in the female area of not accepting that. Well, I'm still this, I'm still that, but it's like, how long you think you got?
Right. Now that I get you 100% because I mean different we hear different things when it comes to women, you know? I mean as far as like our age for being a mom or being pregnant, you know, carrying kids and your prime time, right? So
Right.
I want to say like 25 to like 35 maybe it's like the age where people say it's probably your best years to get pregnant. It doesn't mean you can't get pregnant after then, but there could be complications. Finding somebody who wants kids at that age is another thing. You know, are you going to be an older woman with a younger man just so you can have children? You know, because I don't know any 40-year-olds who want a new baby. Not saying they don't, but I'm just saying, um, because that means that maybe in your 40s means they're going to be a teenager in your 50s. You know, it's you don't get no younger. So I can see the difficulties at any age, but probably as you get older, it does seem more difficult. Not impossible, but more difficult.
Imagine being this 40-year-old woman with a young guy and you having this baby, and it's like, oh, is this the how long is your baby? How many kids you got? And they're thinking that your husband is your kid.
Right.
So it's like there's a certain reality that I feel like we don't want to face because it tells us that we can't do something or our time is almost up. Because I've always, this is just me personally, when I'm the one of those people that sit and look at people online talk about relationships and oh how they want to be in one and they want the right one, and it's like I've always said this. This is just me. Who's in your inbox? Yeah, I hear your opinions, your comments, and everything. I see it. I know what you want, but who's in your inbox? Somebody is willing to give you what you want, but because it's not who you want, you ignore it.
Right.
And I get that, but at the same time, how much time do you have? Like, it's something to be said. People always said that I got married too early. I've always thought that because I got married young, but I didn't have any guidance or understanding what marriage was. It was, I'm pregnant. Okay, we got to get married because that was considered the right thing to do.
Right.
But when people get married young, I feel like that's a strong, it builds something within you because you're able to go through everything. You're able to face the world and face the obstacles that come about, and you're not, you don't quit. Because when you see the old school marriages and talk about where he like 65 and no, she's 70 or whatever around that age, they say they've been married since they were young. They have so much wisdom to give on not allowing little arguments become big arguments. How important it is to spend time with one another. If they had children, how they were able to come together and raise their children. Those things we don't see anymore because people just give up. I right now, and before we started the show, I was just watching a video about it. Rapper La Truth and his wife, they're going through a divorce, and first thing I was thinking was like, man, they got all those kids and they getting a divorce. It's like he gonna have to pay some child support. And then it came out that she had those half of those kids are between two other men,
Mm,
and like only one is his.
mm.
So I'm like, oh, that changes everything.
Hmm.
And it reminded me something was said within the whole red pill timeline of videos, where if you are a woman and you have multiple kids, most of the time those type of women will stay with you as long enough to get themselves financially stable, and then they will leave.
Mm.
And that's what marriage has become. Now, as far as the wall, how it lines up with their situation is, what man you gonna get to want to deal with you and all those kids?
Hmm.
You just had one, and you're leaving them. Because I thought they were all theirs together, and I was like, well, look like they were a young couple coming up. It's like, oh, you already had a trial period man
Hmm.
to Latruth. So when it comes, I feel like we need to do better about attacking our opportunities when they're present to us rather than waiting.
I agree. I also would say if you don't take the opportunities when presented, be prepared for whatever you get next.
Right.
Because opportunities will be missed, but don't complain about it. You missed it. Be prepared to do whatever comes next because you missed this train. You got to catch the next one. You know, you weren't on time for your layover or your connection. You got to either drive to the next spot or wait to tomorrow or whatever. You know, so understand that you had a chance meeting, a chance connection, an opportunity, a timeline, a, um, a zone to get in. You missed it. Now what? You know, I can't say, "Oh man, I'm so mad I missed the train 'cause I overslept." Well, you overslept. You can't blame nobody but you. But now what do? You can't sit there and go, "Oh, I overslept. Nothing else will work." What's next? So I think about women who may have waited um to have kids or get married until they finish their career, or I mean, till they found their career, right? A woman who wants to be business minded first, get her degree, or travel the world, and then get married and have kids. Like you said earlier, her dating pool may slim down. Your uh, best picks might already be chosen. You know, you might have missed that opportunity. Just be prepared for that. Understand you chose to put your career first, which again, no judgment whether you do or you don't. Just understand everyone doesn't agree with that, or everyone who you may have want may not want you after you've already done what you did. You know, so it's always a possibility. Everything's there. It's a chance. But if not, are you prepared for what is left? Or how much longer you have to wait for what the next opportunity? Again.
I recently I went back on the dating sites. Um went back on one, and a young lady reached out to me, and she was very cool and everything. I put some little directions on the app I was on, because I wasn't going to pay their little thing for people to message me back, like, get out of here with that. So she followed directions. She ended up following me, finding me on Instagram. Well, she's like, well, when are we going to talk? Well, I told her, was like, you know what? I got a lot of stuff going on during the week, physical therapy and whatnot. So I was like, my Sundays is free. She had a problem with that. She said, I don't understand why we got to wait. I got to wait till Sunday just to have like a small conversation with you. I mean, 10 minutes or something isn't that long. And I tried to explain to her, like, from the moment I wake up, I'm busy. And I really don't have the time. And I broke my schedule down. And she was like, yeah, I understand. That makes sense. And a lot of sense the way you broke it down. But I don't see why you can't fit like 10 minutes. And it's like, hold on. And the reason I brought that up, because I know sometimes people get to that point of it's right there. So let me grab it and let me take it while it's right here. And I don't want to mess up with it. And but at the same time doing so, you can potentially push someone away, which she did, because I ain't dealing with that.
Oh.
Because the one thing the most powerful thing you can have within a relationship is communication. And if I'm telling you something that's going on with me and you're not trying to understand that, it's not going to work.
Mm.
Granted, I understand your need of wanting to have a verbal communication with me, but we just met. We haven't even met. You just swiped left or right on me.
So, devil's advocate. um, I get that. I agree 100%. When you're telling someone something, that's what it is. Yes, it could be changed, maybe, but I'm telling you what it is. Um, on the other hand, dating apps, personally, when I've been on them, they've known to you're known to meet people who aren't truthful. So for her, I feel like maybe she wanted to make sure you were really who you were, to see if you're really about anything, not necessarily meet up, but like voice conversation. Because people can type whatever and be anybody. And sometimes you might have noticed it. You can tell who someone is a little bit more when you hear their voice, when you see their this facial expressions, right? You can get to know them differently than you can through text message because texting can get misconstrued, right? I could interpret you're saying something for sarcasm when it wasn't that at all. I took it personally. It's just words. I don't know. Um, and granted, 10 minutes may not have been a lot on one end, or it could have been too much on one end, but I mean, I'm guilty. I've done it before. I'm like, you ain't got 5 minutes out your day. You could talk to me on the way somewhere. You know what I'm saying? You could be, in line waiting to the grocery store. Hey, I just called you or whatever. Just something. But at the same time, if that's your boundary, if that's your firm, I'm not giving it up, then stick with it. But if it's something you can be flexible with, maybe consider that. Because that one 10-minute conversation could have told you a lot about her, or could have told her a lot about you.
I'm the XD.
Like I say, if that's your boundary, stick with it. I'm just saying. And sometimes there's a chance, especially when you said they're limited uh selections out here. So the pickings is slim sometimes. I'm not saying take what you can get. I'm not saying that. But I'm saying sometimes step out and try something you wouldn't normally have done just to see. If it don't work, no harm, no foul, because it's only 10 minutes.
Because in going back to the whole war thing,
Mm-hmm.
as a man, if I'm telling you that I'm approaching the wall, one of the things I'm saying as an older male now is that I ain't got time to deal with no nonsense.
Mm-hmm.
I got time to deal with no drama. I'm not to be out here fighting over no woman. Not gonna be out here paying for your little dinner so you can get something to eat and then I don't see you anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I want something and I want to deal with people on a mature level. I recently planned something out with a young lady, told her to be ready at this time. I'm gonna take you out. I felt like a boss when I said it too. Had my foot down there, put my foot down and everything, like taking you out.
Okay.
And she agreed and whatnot. And then plans on my end changed. And called me back and was like, well, can we plan it for a little bit later in the day? So I was gonna take her to breakfast. So she was like, can we plan it out later in the day so you don't have to wake up that early? I said, cool, fine. So I wake up a little around my regular normal time on the weekend. We're sitting there talking, and she tells me that she has to go make some runs. I'm like, oh, okay. Well, I guess you gotta take care of some business with her mother or whatnot. So the whole day, I don't hear from her.
Mm-hmm.
It's about 12 that evening. So I'm pissed off. Like, man, I'm talking about I had my stuff out, iron. I'm talking first day of school, ready, ironed, ready to go,
Yeah.
playing on the place and everything. Coming back, I guess she ended up doing her mother's hair. It took too long. And I'm like, okay. So the next day, I know she was a church girl, so she was at church. We talk after church with service, and she's like, we're talking. She apologized for that day, but she then tells me like she's gonna get ready to go out with her cousins or something. They're gonna go out to a restaurant or whatnot. I'm like, oh, you're screw me with no Vaseline.
Oh no.
So it bothered me, and then So I asked her, like, do you want to do this? Like, is this something that you want? She's like, where is this coming from? It's like, when she responded the question with the question, red flag for me.
Mm,
Because if you want something or someone and they have doubt about what's going on, or you're not doing your part to show that you're interested in it, you know, it's a red flag and people are going to move accordingly.
mm,
So she got upset and was like, you know what? I don't know what you want. I'm finna sit here and relax and drink my wine and you do what you gotta do.
mm-hmm,
And after that, I left it alone. I kept it pushing. Now the part of me was like, because I really liked the girl, like your ego got in the way.
mm-hmm.
The other part was like, dude, you the XD. You ain't gonna just let nobody disrespect you like that.
Mm,
But then it made me think, like, dang, was that my last opportunity at being with somebody? And it was like, wow, the wall is like right in front of me.
mm-hmm,
What else am I going to decline where I just smack myself right into it?
mm,
Because the conversation really is about usually stays on the female side of things, but it also goes on the male side. And then when, like I said, I have a low tolerance for incomplete answers or lack of action. So I really feel like I'm getting close to hitting the wall that I'm seeing everybody else talk about.
mm,
But as a man, now I can. They tell me like as far as dating is concerned, you can always date younger. As a man, if a woman does it, it's kind of weird because it'd be like she's dating her son.
mm.
What do you think?
I mean, if that's the case, then how come it's not seen as the man could be dating his daughter by him going younger? You know, like how is this double standard? It always seems to be that way. You know, it's like men can have babies forever. You know, they can be old and gray and still have babies. And women, you know, sometimes it, and I say sometimes because there are women who have had babies in their older age, but a lot of times there's a cutoff for having children naturally. Um, but I feel like a dating age doesn't make a difference to everyone else. It should only matter to you and the person you're dating. As long as the age gap doesn't cause a problem for y'all, what?
You know where I'm going to go with this, right?
No.
Then why they mad at R. Kelly?
Because they were underage, I believe. Some of them were underage. Now that's different. An age gap, as long as they're legal, I think is okay. If I'm 30 something dating a 16-year-old, I think that's not okay. That's me personally. If they are not of legal age and not considered an adult to be able to give a adult consent,
Hmm.
then I don't think it's okay. Now, if they 18 and you 40, that's your business. 18 is still young to me, but they're technically an adult. But so age gap to me, if it works for you and
Hmm.
your partner, that's fine. It's when you guys don't get along well or you blame their actions on, oh, it's because you young, but you picked them. How are you blaming their age, you know? Or the opposite, you know, oh, it's because you an old man. You don't ever want to go out with me no more. You chose that old man to date and be with. So don't complain about the age gap and the problems now. You know, as long as y'all getting along and the age gap don't bother y'all, I feel like it shouldn't matter to nobody else. Honestly, if I'm dating somebody younger, I might not even tell nobody how old they are. Just for the simple fact, because y'all gonna judge who they are based on their number, their age. What if they're mature? What if we get along better than someone my own age? You know, and you're only judging because you think, oh, he young, he still got what they say, he still got milk on his breath. You know, I'm dating somebody older. He old enough to be your grandpa. Old man, one foot in the grave. Like,
They say, robbing the cradle.
yeah, it's like that old man treat me nice, you know, or that young guy is doing the thing that people my age couldn't. Whatever my choice or you know or statement could be. So male or female, whoever you're dating, I feel like the age gap As long as it doesn't present a problem to you and y'all relationship, go for it. I just feel like people are in people's business too much. That's sometimes our problem. Sometimes we listen to others' opinions first and get our own feelings. We have our own guideline ourselves. We have our own feelings about things. And when we ignore those, that's when we doubt ourselves, or we like, well, should I? Or asking your friends for advice. I mean, not saying you can't, but some things you shouldn't bring to your friends.
I definitely agree with you with the last statement you said. Listen to other people's advice, because I did that heavily with Kevin Samuels,
Mm-hmm.
and it wasn't that I'm just following everything he says. It was his opinion had evidence behind it that you can visually see. Like I visually seen women with children date men and then leave the man or critique the man's parenting skills when he tried to talk to their child,
Mm-hmm.
or women who leave a man because he's working too much,
Mm-hmm.
or women who leave a man and then think they can go back into the single field and get a really good guy. It was like you just in a marriage, you got all these kids. No, I don't want to take care of another man's responsibility.
Mm-hmm.
And it was even I even talked to a woman who had kids, and I'm looking at everything that Kevin Samuels spoke about. I'm seeing. I'm with his arrogance. She need to be treating me like this. I'm a man. You ain't gonna just disrespect me. It's like that's the way I went into it, and I realized that I was moving off somebody else's words instead of my own,
Mm-hmm.
based on what I was able to see. Because it was like everything he was talking about was right in front of me. She put me second to the kids. It's like I want to go out and do this. Well, I gotta do this and that. And granted, I have kids of my own, but they're all teenagers. So I'm at the time where it's like, okay, I'm finna go out, and they probably already sleep or they got to go to work. So it's a new life for me.
Mm-hmm.
But when I look at going back to the whole war thing, it makes me feel like we got to start taking advantage of opportunities when they're present, instead of putting them in the refrigerator and then trying to come back to them at a later time, because they can spoil, and nobody want to move on something that's not edifying them the way they want it to. Because I recently had a conversation with my son, and I just really broke down a lot of things of where I was at mentally, because I'm trying to protect him to make the right decisions financially. Um, be careful about depending too much on people, because I told him those that may be your friends today might not be your friends tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
And their reasoning for not being your friends could be some of the weirdest things in the world. Shot, 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 shot. Um, but it's just part of life.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes people are around for a season, a couple of seasons. It's rare you find people that are around for a lifetime.
True. And some of us push away those lifetime people based on temporary feelings, you know.
Right.
And that's what I'm trying to make sure as well. Like there's been times where I've ghosted people. Like in the dating life, you know what I mean? Like if somebody wasn't doing what I thought they should be doing for me as a potential partner, I let them go. Ghost them, ignore them, whatever. And again, our key point is communication. I was not very good at it. I admit that 100%. I was not very good at it. So going forward, whether it be a friendship, a relationship, potential relationship, partnership, anything, you got to communicate what you need. Um, but to me, I don't want to even over communicate, because there's some things I feel like as humans we kind of know. We know that people in partnerships work together, right? I shouldn't have to ask my partner to help me with something. That's how I feel. I
Right.
mean, I'm not above asking because closed mouths don't get fed, but at the same time, it's also like I've heard it somewhere. I don't remember where I heard it, but when someone comes into your life, you know they're for you when they make your life easier. If when they leave your life is the same, they didn't do anything. They didn't help you anyway. It's like so I look for that. I look for a person who naturally wants to help me, who naturally wants more for me than what I want for myself right now, or who can support what I have going on. That goes for friendship and relationships. If someone I notice and meet seems to take more from me than they're giving to me,
Hmm.
out of there. It's unbalanced, it's unequal. And yes, there's gonna be times when you're gonna need more from your partner than you can give, right? When
Right.
women are they're gonna need more from their partner. When a man is sick or injured, he's gonna need more from his partner than he would normally give to her. Um, if we're in our own emotional states, right, whether we're sad or depressed or lonely, we're gonna need more than what we can give. So there's times when it's unbalanced, but for the most part, it should be a give and take, and not a to keeping tally, keeping score. But it should never feel like I'm doing all the work here. Um, so that's what I look for. And I remember a guy asked me one time, he was like, "What kind of man do you want?" I could easily define what kind of man I want, but I don't want. I've done it, and I told a man what I wanted, and he became that for like 2 weeks. And then his true colors show. So I'm never going to tell you what I want as specifically. I'm not going to get like detailed, if that makes sense. I'll tell you vague things. I'll tell you broad ideas, and I want to see how you operate. Because if I have to tell you how to be for me, are you being you for me, or are you being
You don't put on the mask, and
yeah,
but you won't until you get tired of being playing the role and take that thing go up and it's okay. Here I go.
exactly. Or you'll do it until you get what you want out of me, and then you out of there. So I want you to naturally be you, and I'll decide if I like that or not. You
Okay.
know? Now, if some things really bother me, I think I should say that. I'll speak up, like, I don't like, this or that or whatever case may be, and then we'll see how you adjust. You don't adjust, I'm out of there. But and it's vice versa. I have to be open to hearing the critique. If a guy tells me, "Glow, I really don't like when you do this," I might be like, "And," but I realize, okay, he don't like that. I get it. Let me either adjust or don't adjust and excuse myself, depending on what it is, right? Um, I don't know. I think that's the thing I've got away from. So whether the person is that wall, remember, we worried about is my time past me? Is it too late? Um, or having to adjust because I'm single, no children. I would like children one day. Can I require that the man I meet don't have children? I mean, it's gonna be very rare, right?
Right.
It's gonna be very rare that I find a man who doesn't have children who still wants children. Um, so I have to adjust a little bit. I have to be okay with, okay, he might come with a child or two. All right, I can handle that. Um, he may have been married. I have to be okay with that. I've got, because at this age, he may have been married. Um, he may not want certain things. I've got to be okay, adjust, be okay with it. Not saying I have to settle for everything, but realize what I can and cannot accept or what can be adjusted.
And with that being said, we got to ask the people. I mean, we conversated about the wall and our expectations and examples of it. How do you guys feel about the wall? Please make sure you subscribe to the C4 movement, like and share, and let's have the conversation. Hit the comment section. Um, this has been another moment with the XD. The C4 movement is back; it has returned, and I'd like to thank Glow for stopping in. And we'll catch you guys next time.
Tell me about it. Find me in the middle of the map, right in the center. I'm a saint right now, but we all born sinners. Take a couple L's if you wanna be a winner. When I think about the beat, it's synonymous with dinner. I've been eating too long, still starving. Sowing seed like I got my own garden. And I'm talking to the king while I'm flipping through James, making sure my cardiac don't harden. Mind your manners, Midwest flow, country grammar, out the slammer, way too free, and I rep my set. Young OG, loves